Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily for Sunday night, brought to you by Paddy Power, a bookies, a website and an app. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly and try to do so with Paddy Power. Liverpool are 25 points clear in the Premier League, and the word procession is probably doesn't even do it justice at this stage. They went to Norwich City yesterday. They dug out a 1-0 win in a dominant but scaldy win, is the way I like to look at it. And tonight, me and Keith are going to have a little look back on that. We're also going to have a look at reactions of opposition fans that seems to be going over the top more and more as the days go on. And we're going to try pick a game where Liverpool will actually secure this title, with Man City having this game against West Ham to be thrown in somewhere, and all the different permutations. It could go a couple of ways, and we'll try look at that. Random stuff is very important tonight. If you have any random stuff at any stage in the show, throw it in, and we'll try drop it in during conversations as we go along. This will be probably about an hour, so strap yourselves in. Here we go. And here we go. Good evening and welcome. Keith, I'm going to come to you straight away, and I'm going to say to you, I like the owl scaldy owl win, but that was a dominant scaldy win, I think, from Liverpool yesterday. And just when Martin Tyler and his mates were getting their hopes up after about 75 minutes, Sadio Mane storms in and says, enough is enough. Let's go and win this game. And I was really, really pleased with the manner of the victory.
Yeah, I was the same there, Gav. I love a scaldy one.
You
love
it.
the scaldy ones. Big fan. This year, they're great. You know, before they used to, no, you want these dominant wins. No, I love the scaldy, scuttery little spawny ones like this. But yeah, it was, when you look back at it, it was fairly dominant. You know, like the chance that the chances Norwich really had where. The save, that wasn't really even a save because there wasn't really a shot from ALISSON in the first half, and then the one they hit the post on the second half. You know, other than that, there wasn't really, a couple of shots straight at ALISSON, but you're not going to beat him. Do you know what I mean, with them sort of things? But yeah, it was the highlight was Martin Tyler, and I'd love to see his face when the goal went in, because you could hear it in his voice. I was sitting here watching it, and even my missus was like, what's he? Who's he? You know, she's like, who's this fella? What's he saying? He doesn't like Liverpool. I says, that's Martin Tyler. Explain the whole background to her, you know what I mean? But it was just made it all the more sweeter, you know what I mean? That about 2 minutes later, Sadio decides to pop, and not only pop up and get the goal, but a little VAR one as well, you know, just to add that little bit of anger to all the other fans out there. Yeah,
and you know what? His line after the goal is, VAR works for Liverpool.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just
ridiculous.
It's I don't know. Like, and you know something? I don't think Carragher was far behind him yesterday. I thought.
Well, I think he's terrible as a commentator. I think he's absolutely brutal. I think he's toned the party line at Sky, I think, after what happened last season when he was nearly getting the bullet.
Yeah.
And as a pundit, he's much better. But as a commentator, I think he the amount of shite that Tyler comes out with, and he never, ever pulls him up or counters it. You know?
Just look, we could talk about Martin Tyler and Jamie Carragher all night, but I just felt that they were overcritical of Liverpool. And if you watch the game, Liverpool are so dominant in it. I know you talk about that chance that could have been there for Pukki and ALISSON gets there, but other than that, I thought Liverpool were dominant. They played, the conditions weren't the best, but I thought they dealt with them quite well. And on another day, they probably had a couple more goals, but they still go and win it. Going back to the start, though, there's loads of comments coming in here as well. Barry Carr says, keep Plunkett like Supermax. I don't know what that means, but maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. He hasn't denied it yet, so maybe he's seeking legal advice.
No thinking either way, but, you know, why not?
Yeah, if you're happy with
support Irish, whatever, you know.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. Is Mane's goal getting the credit it deserves? Asked Barry Carr. We will get to that later on. We get onto the goal itself. Chris Brack says he thought Russell Martin was decent as a pundit in Sky Studio. Clearly a Norwich fan, but he was balanced in his analysis.
I thought he was excellent. Yeah, I thought he was excellent. Really, wouldn't mind seeing more of him on the panel. I thought he gave good insight and was very balanced. You know, but as you say, it's because he's an ex-Norwich captain or whatever that he was. And how many times are Norwich going to be on the telly? But yeah, I thought he was very good. You know, you don't see that level of, which sounds ridiculous, but that level of balanced views from an ex-player. I thought was very good.
He was very good. I thought he was as well. Mark Sproul hasn't been happy with Carragher for a long time. Avo said I could smell the boil in his throat as the net bulged. He despises the man, and that's with Martin Tyler. Danny Emery says the think Tyler should be made to watch every Liverpool game for the rest of the season. O'Neill says in defence of Carragher, I think any commentator is going to call out Tyler. However, still overcritical of Liverpool. I just thought he's. And Barry Carr says he's under a bit of a tight rein since the incident where he was caught on camera with people spitting and all that sort of thing. Yeah. I just felt I don't know, maybe it's just the price of being at top of the league, and you know the standards are so high that Liverpool are expected to go out there and win 3 or 4-0. Like I done a little bit for radio yesterday morning with regards to and the guys talking to me was saying Liverpool should win this handy, and I was in agreement with him, but the weather might have been a bit of a leveler. I think Norwich, to their credit, tried to play football, but they're bottom of the league for a reason, and Liverpool weren't quite at it, but we'll get into that in more detail as we go along. Richard said, lads, rumours of the Werner deal are close. Grizz, anyone got any more info on this and how many signings? You'll have to go on to Grizz direct with that. There is being a lot going around with regards to Werner, and I think they have to pay up the clause by April or something like that, or the clause is null and void. I don't know how that is, but we'll have to wait and see. Barry Carr says that Matt is the man for Werner. Yeah, Matt is the man that came out with the Werner stuff during the week. Will you be watching the Chelsea match tomorrow? Asks Bellum Guy. I might do. Chelsea and United. Yeah, I'll be on the telly. I might. No, I won't. Yes, I will. I'll be watching it while we're in studio recording a podcast. But look, back to the start, Keith, and the lineup. The goalkeeper, the back four, everyone was quite settled on that. I thought he might do Henderson, Fabinho, Henderson, Keita, and give Wijnaldum a rest with Atletico coming up. But Shawnee called it spot on in our WhatsApp group, and he felt it would be Henderson, Wijnaldum, Keita. And then I thought Minamino might get a look in up front, and he didn't. He went with Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he went with the two lads, and I wasn't surprised with Mane on the bench. But how did you feel with the lineup, especially the midfield, I suppose?
Yeah, I was happy enough with the lineup, to be honest. I thought if ever you're going to use your squad, the team on bottom of the league is probably the time to do it, and especially with a big game coming up. I know Mane and Fabinho did need a few minutes in their legs, and to give them a half an hour I thought was the right thing to do. And to get Keita, who I thought actually had a very good game. Keita, I know he's coming in some criticism, some praise, as is always the case with Naby Keita, seemingly. Genuinely thought he done decent enough. I thought the lineup was good. I always like to see a couple of changes like that, just to see how the guys coming in can perform and if they can impact the team. At this stage, that's all we're sort of. Other than that, we're just looking at a procession. You know what I mean? So we'll take any sort of a little quirk we can find. But I was happy with the team. I was happy with the lineup, and just thought it looked all right with no Mane there, but it did still look an attacking enough lineup with Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain there. I thought, this could be good.
Yeah, no, listen, I've no problem with any lineup he puts out. You have to trust any lineup he puts out. He's 25 wins from 26 in the league. He's every right to put any lineup he wants out. But is this already a case of him rotating this team, and he's basically has this plan in his head a long time, and he's focused that over the last 2 weeks while they've been on a break, where he's going, I'm going to pick certain players for certain games, and this is what I'm going to do regardless, because it reminds me a little bit of, don't get me wrong, people are going to come on and go, no, Keita should start, Keita's this, that, and the other. Keita, I thought, done very well yesterday. But it reminds me of Ferguson. Ferguson used to say he'd go to gigs, say for argument's sake, later on in his career, and he'd say to gigs, you're not going to play in November and December. you're going to play very little, but I have you earmarked for game A, B, C, D, and E come January, February. He used to do it with Ronaldo. He'd send Ronaldo on his winter break, even though the Premier League didn't have a winter break. But you know where I'm coming from? Is he starting to now? Don't get me wrong. The Mane stuff's probably enforced. He hasn't played football in 3.5, 4 weeks. But does it look to you like he's picking players for certain games and he's going to manage this squad even more now going into this period? Because, look, he knows the league is done. The only thing that they can aspire to in the league now is probably going unbeaten. And the Champions League comes into focus. Is he starting? Does it look to you like he's, like, come Tuesday or whatever night we're playing Atletico, Fabinho will be back in there, you know, that kind of way. Mane will be back in there for Oxlade-Chamberlain. Is he starting to plan this, or is the plan being put into place now, and it's going back a long, long time?
I think he looked. I might have said it on a pod before. I think his plan was to nearly squeeze a whole season up until that winter break, get as much as he could out of his regulars. Very little rotation, you know, up till then. But I think his plan was to get to that break now and see where we are, you know, even from early on in the season. And I think that was, if we could be within touching distance of City, he would have been happy. Now, this is going back to the start of the season, but to get there now, I think he's happy. We've come out, we've seen a few changes. He's going to start looking at the Champions League, which is right, you know. I mean, we'd all love to go unbeaten in the league, but I think he will sacrifice a game if he has to. But if there's other games coming up,
you're saying he could sacrifice a game. But looking at that squad, Jesse, like the Minamino thing wasn't even in the squad. People going, why isn't he in the squad? You know, I still feeling it's a massive bedding in period for Minamino. Yeah. And look, he was in and out of the squad and out of the side in the weeks running up to this break, and then they've had their break, and he could be just settling in. They could have worked intensely with him over the past week on tactical stuff and maybe fitness, and you know, he may be a really fit player, but I think you have to be mad off the scale fit to play for this side. And that could be just, he could be saying to him, listen, don't be worrying about it. Come the middle of March, end of March, when we're in the business end of the league, which is already done and dusted, but we're still going to be wanting winning games. He could come in. You know, looking at that squad, and someone said on the show the other night, when you actually look at a full squad and you're trying to pick an 18, it starts to get difficult picking an 18. Whereas we go back, the last time Liverpool, well, before last season, the last time they pushed City, 2013-14, and you knew the 16-17 players, because 13, they were running off 13 and there was 4 other lads around the place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But when you look at that squad now, you're kind of going, it's actually getting harder and harder to pick an 18 here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Talks of sacrificing league games is probably a little bit premature, because we can drop 3 or 4 in here and you could make arguments for any of them 3 or 4 being in the first team, in the first 11.
Oh yeah, and I suppose that's maybe the wrong way to phrase the sacrificing games. I was just thinking more along the lines of, you know, if we've
risking games a little bit more, maybe.
You know, if you have a semi-final of a Champions League coming up and you've got a league game in there, it might be, you know, 4 or 5 changes to what you'd expect the team to be. And in years gone by, that would have been a nightmare. But you're right, this squad now, it's ridiculously strong. And even if you look at the younger guys, I mean, I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but if I saw Pedro Chirivella named in a matchday team, wouldn't give a shite. Do you know what I mean? If I seen a player getting rested and Curtis Jones put in the matchday team, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, because these have got in and they've got a chance and they've done well and they haven't let the club down, you know. So even to that level, I think the risk would be minimum, maybe. But I just think, you know, when we are talking about the Champions League, if we're sort of on a push for that, I just think that might be, you know, a game where maybe too many changes might weaken us. But even that, it's clutching at straws. I personally think we can't go the whole season without getting beaten. And I think it will get into their head. And I think it'll be in their heads that the more close it comes, the more of an issue it will become. Do you know what I mean? I think if they can get to maybe, you know, 32 games done, and then you're in literally only a handful left, I think what should really be, I
think after
rubbers,
City there's 6 games left.
Yeah,
I think so.
If you're still in with a shot of unbeaten, what realistically should be a dead rubber run in, gives it an extra bit of edge, which, do you know, it's no bad thing. It's no bad thing to keep them focused. I think one of the best things for this Liverpool team is, I've said this before, they're made work harder for their wins than what City were over the last couple of years, because teams don't really bend over for Liverpool as much. If you know what I mean, like they'll come in and they'll play. Whereas City were steamrolling through teams, and then when it came to the Champions League business end, they were probably found a bit wanting. Teams like Paris Saint-Germain are the same. You know, when you're not getting any competition, it's hard to get to the later stages of the Champions League. People think it'd be easier, but it's actually harder. So I think that stands us in good stead. And the fact then that we've absolutely steamrolled this league, but you see Southampton last week or 2 weeks ago putting in a good shift against us, even though they got spanked. You've Norwich. I thought Norwich were all right, to be honest, the other day, bottom of the league. But I thought, you know, they tried to play some football. They were pretty defensive, okay, but they were trying to pass it around, which was surprising for a team on the bottom of the league. You wouldn't expect.
Well, that's what they're doing all season.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing all season.
They haven't changed, and that's what, to be honest, like I like that and I respect that with the team. You know, right? They're going down, but they gave it a go. They're playing their own way. Fair play to them.
They will go down, but I think if they go down and they keep that manager, I think that manager could get them back out of the Championship with the way they play and the quality they have if they kept the squad together. But I think if he came back up the season after next, I think he would approach it a little bit. I think he'd probably try to go a little bit more physical, slightly more direct, and it may work for him, because the bottom of the league, they play some decent football, but when all said and done, they're probably about 5-6 points off survival come the end of the season, and just slight changes to that squad could see them, you know, staying up and coming back up, staying up with a slightly different way of playing, and then going from there to look to add more quality and maybe revert back to that total football sort of thing they're doing. Loads of comments coming in here. I think it was Chris said, with the way it is now at the moment, he can see 2-3 players being rotated, 2 or 3 changes per game as we look at the FA Cup and we look at the Champions League as it goes along. The one thing, like, people have said to me, well, if they win the next 5, Gav, and City say, I don't know, draw at United or draw at wherever they're playing, right, and Liverpool win the league, it means then there'll be 7 games left, and would I be right in saying, 7 games left, and they'd be league champions, and people say it'll be a drop off then. The Champions League will come into focus. I think the Champions League will come into focus, but the one thing I know about this side is, and this is going back to even the first couple of years under KLOPP, they set targets and they go after them targets, even when they failed to make Champions League because they put all their eggs in the Europa League basket at that time. They set targets, they come out the next season, they get Champions League, they lose in the Champions League final, well, we'll go and win it next year, they go and do that, they get pipped for title, they're going to win it this year. And I think within the squad they'd be looking, going, lads, win our next 5, the chances are we're champions, and we have 7 games left, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're not beating them. That's their next little mini target. And it's sort of like a dress rehearsal to possible Champions League quarters, semis and final, if you know what I'm saying. Plus the Euros coming up as well, so there's loads of stuff in there for them to grab hold of and push towards as the season comes to a close. Let me see. Maverick says, I think it may be best to focus on the Champions League rather than not dropping points, as still a good possibility to win it. You see, that's the thing. I think they can both fuel each other, and we've seen that for the last 2 seasons. Champions League, one season fueled the top 4 run, and Champions League, you know, fueled a title push over the last 2 seasons. So I think basically they'd be going, we have the title, but unbeaten will fuel this Champions League run. Like, they like to bounce one off the other. You know, that kind of way.
But I think last season was a great example of that, Gav.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it wasn't like, you know, we won the Champions League at the, you know, to the detriment of our league form. You know, we 97 points last season. I know we didn't get any medals for that, but it's an outrageous league performance. And to be pipped by a great team, it was still a great season for Liverpool. You know, it wasn't like they put them in the one basket to go Champions League. They were able to do the 2 of them, and that will stand them in great stead this season when they go for it, I think.
It absolutely will. Dylan says he thinks that KLOPP breaks the games into a 4 to 6 game period for rotation. I think you're right there. I think if you look at the next 4, like if you include Norwich, you add in the 2 Atletico games, and you add in probably 2-3 league games in around that. That's a 6-game period. That's where you might see at the other end of it, Minamino appears, and he becomes part of a more. He's more of a presence in the squad when we have those 7-8 league games left and the title is wrapped up. That's where you come and see the likes of Minamino. Origi might feature a hell of a lot more. Keita, although coming back from injury, and is a superb footballer, and I just hope above anything that he just stays fit and proves how good a footballer he is. That's when you might see him come to the fore. Things like that, Shaq says Champions League is not a distraction. It's another trophy we can win, and we will win it. There you go. The only one up in the air for me is the FA Cup. What does he do with Chelsea? I think if he does mix it up a bit at Chelsea and he manages to get through, I think then he starts looking, going, the 3 of these are on.
Yeah.
And then you might see, like you said, will we, instead of rotating 2 or 3, we might do 4 or 5 in a league game. You know what I mean? So it's one of those. But look, getting back to the game, I suppose look, the conditions weren't great. Let's be honest. No. We've gone through the lineup and stuff like that, and how we felt about it. And give credit to Norwich; they did come out and try play football. I did think though, for large parts of the game, if our pressing was probably 10% better, we could have been in time after time because they were playing quite risky stuff. They managed to get to half time. I thought Liverpool were fairly more or less dominant in the first half without being outrageously good. You've seen that bit of skill by Firmino. They've a couple of promising bits and pieces, but overall it gets to half time, and I don't know what you're thinking, Keith, but I'm thinking Klopp will go in there now and he'll just sort these out. He'll pick out 4 or 5 little instances. We'll change things a little bit and we'll run out winners. Now it didn't go as straightforward as that with the scoreline, but the second half I thought we were very, very good. I really did. I thought it was one of those where it will come. And I don't know who it will come from, but it will come. That's just the belief you have in this team now, isn't it? Yeah,
I agree with you. But I think it's every game is like that. It's one of them. This season has whatever he does at half time now with them. They seem to, if they're not winning at half time, or they're not as dominant as they could be, they're usually out and on it as soon as the second half starts. Now, right, the goal didn't come until later on, but I just thought. I was never worried, as much as the commentator might have led you to believe we were in some trouble, is this the day and all that shit that he was saying. I just never thought we wouldn't do it, and that's the belief I have in the team now. 2-3 years ago, a 2-0 lead and you'd be sitting there sweat pumping now at 0-0, you're 75 minutes, you get 2 or 3 here, you know what I mean? So it's just it's a different gravy now. It's a different animal we're looking at, which, happy days.
I think the biggest thing for me is even when it's 0-0, I don't even look at the quality how we have in the pitch. I don't even look at, are we creating loads of chances, or is it one of those days where we're creating nothing? I think it's how hard other teams have to work to stay in games.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I go 70-75, they've probably ran as much as they would against Team X or Team Y last week or the week before, and they still have 15-20 minutes to go. You know what I mean? They still have nearly quarter of a game to go, and we're still at them and at them and at them. Now, it may not look potent, it may not look like absolutely pen them in and pressure, but even when a game opens up a little bit and they look like, they might be coming into this a bit, they're actually not, because what they're doing is they're making the pitch longer, which doesn't suit playing against Liverpool, especially in the final 20.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I was said in the WhatsApp group yesterday, the amount of people you see shitting themselves basically on 45 minutes that we're not a goal up. What's going to happen? And now you're thinking, no, there's 75, we're fine, there's 15, possibly 20 left here. We're grand. We might score 1, possibly 2, but
exactly.
The goal comes, Mane comes off the bench. I thought he'd probably get a half an hour. I was delighted to see him back, but he comes off the bench. I'm not saying Liverpool run now of ideas, but it was just a different dimension he gives. It's just, and you can see Norwich, as soon as he's making any sort of run, they're dropping, the kind of way. They're not sure, is he going inside, is he going outside, is he making runs across them? He just causes havoc by movement alone. Good ball by Henderson. Great take. and a brilliant finish. And there was a lot of stuff about, did he push the defender? I'm going to be honest, on foresight, I thought he was going to give a free out. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, I mean,
but the defender makes too much of it for me.
The defender goes down too easy, and it's one of them. He puts a hand on him. So if we want to say it's a free, it's a free. But rival fans. I was looking on Twitter and I seen a lot of rival fans. Saying, "Oh, Liverpool getting this, Liverpool getting that." But the same people were sort of, when we got a draw at United and Lindelof went through Origi, not enough contact there, not enough contact. So. If either there has to be some contact. It's a contact sport. They can't just, every foul can't be, or every contact can't be blown up for a foul. So you'll get some you'll get and some you won't. And I just think there wasn't enough in that to be a foul. Your man was spinning and hadn't got his balance. He wasn't pushed over. You know what I mean? There was a hand on him, but he wasn't pushed over.
I think Mane is putting his hand out to feel where the defender is.
Yeah.
Rather than a push.
Exactly.
And I think if the defender actually just... Do you know something? If the defender moves towards the ball and towards Mane and tries to win it and goes over, he probably gets a free, because it does look like he's obstructing the defender from getting the ball. But your man goes spinning. It's like it's like Storm Dennis took him and pushed him towards the fucking corner flag.
Yeah, it was.
His hand goes on him, you know what I mean? and it's one of those. But like Maverick says, Mane is only stroked off the defender. Didn't VVD get brought down by two defenders at a corner? That was madness.
Exactly. Now, I mean, if you look at that and compare to, and no one's saying anything, the only people mentioning that are Liverpool fans mentioning the Van Dijk one, and it was the same as well when against Southampton with the Danny Ings penalty, when everyone's saying, "Oh, Fabinho fouled Danny Ings," but didn't mention the one on Firmino on the goal line when he got played and tore down on the line.
Yeah. I just think, like, that one there, do you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember the one where, like, when you see the ball coming in, I don't think Van Dijk's anywhere near it, right?
Yeah.
But he is kind of grabbed to the ground by one, and a second one kind of gets involved as well. But it reminded me of the one away at Palace. Do you remember when Palace got the goal and it was given for a free?
Lovren. Yeah.
A push by...
who was it?
The AU brother, one of the AU brothers, isn't it?
Andre. Jordan AU.
Jordan AU. It reminded me of that, where is he getting it? And the thing is, no, it doesn't matter. He's fouled him in the box.
Yeah.
I just thought, when I seen that, I thought, they're giving a penalty for that. They're giving. This guy is not looking at the ball. All he wants to do is get a hold of Van Dijk, hold him as much as he can, and drag him to the ground if possible. So I don't know what VAR were at a bit yesterday. I'm being honest with you. It was a bit of a weird one, and I'm just drained trying to talk about VAR at this stage. Like Kevin Sullivan says, the VVD pen. Remember VAR during the Russia World Cup? Those fouls stopped in a few games because pens were given. Yeah, and that was in the Premier League as well. It brought it in before VAR, where they were instructed, because we were all having shit fits over Martin Skrtel, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
Putting his hands on anyone. Dylan says, "Don't worry, lads. I played Atletico on FIFA and beat them 8-0. The lads should be fine during the week." That's great to hear. But
excellent stuff.
It's a really good finish, and people have said it reminds them of. I think I seen something today about somebody mentioned about like Bergkamp and like Zidane. Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Van Nistelrooy at United, pulling the ball down and just lashing it.
That striker's instinct,
just one touch and bang.
Not over. Yeah.
No backlift, just one touch and bang. And Van Nistelrooy used to do that quite a bit for United, where it'd drop in the box. Now, I'm not saying he'd be pulling it out of the sky like that, but it'd be just an instant touch and bang.
Yeah.
And
when you do it like that and you hit it early, it's, the keeper's not set. He's not, maybe it's a half second, you know what I mean? Yeah. They're expecting maybe to let it drop and try and, let it settle or whatever. But no, he just took it on early. It was an absolute beaut. Yeah,
it was a great goal. And it was great to see him back, and the Player of the Year talk went through the roof again, because that's what happens when, Henderson. I think he might be odds on to win it, but Mane storms back in and does that. VVD was really good, but I want to go through a couple of players, and before I do, I just want to say, if you're on what we on Twitter? If you're on Twitter or Periscope watching this, please share it to your timeline. Hit the 3 buttons, hit the share button, share it onto your timeline. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button, very important. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. Hit the bell icon, and every time we go live, you will get us. And also, try our Discord group. It's very simple. Go onto the Discord app, make up a profile, search LFC Day Trippers or go onto our Twitter feed and you'll find a pinned tweet there with an invite. Loads of chat going on regarding all sorts of stuff. The Paddy Power charity bets, which weren't good this weekend, I can tell you that for nothing. There's chats on Norwich, there's chats on this show, all the other shows we do, Player of the Year, general chat, all that sort of stuff. So if you want to go and try our Discord, absolutely go and check that out as well. But a couple of players I want to get to, and the first one I want to start with is the fella in goal. He's just, I seen a tweet on our timeline last night from us, and it just pictured him, and it just said the absolute Don. This fella is just like when that Norwich fella goes through, and somebody says that is actually offside. If it was dragged back, it was offside. But when that fella takes that ball down, he is about 18 yards from goal, middle of the goal, the goalkeeper to beat, and he's terrified. He doesn't want to shoot, and then he decides to square it, and the keeper goes just one big arm out and just scoops it away. He is ridiculous. He's ridiculous, isn't he, Keith?
He's outrageous. I mean, he's the best in the world, hands down. I'm going to go as far as say he's the best keeper I've seen for Liverpool. I know we've had the laid murderers or always shy bags over the years and go for Liverpool, but this fella just, you get through that defence and you have to get, if you get through, I agree, I thought it was offside. Klopp said it in his interview afterwards, he was confident it would have been pulled back, but when you're going through there and you're seeing this fella coming out, you say, your man cacked himself. Even the pass or whatever it was that Alisson got his hand on, like, I don't know what the fuck it was. Like, you just didn't know what to do when you see this fella. And I don't know if it's the black leggings and all that he's wearing, but my Jesus.
He's like stealth, isn't he? He's just stealth.
Yeah.
I think it was Barry says he would like a wedding discussion on the Discord. I will absolutely set up Barry's wedding discussion on Discord after this show if you would like, and people can gag in and let you know what they think, and you can explain where it is, how it's happening and what's happening, and then people can give you suggestions if you want. If you're serious about that, I will genuinely put it on there, because listen, we're not there to tell you what to do and what not to do, and the more people the merrier, and if we can have a bit of crack about Barry's wedding, so be it. But with Alisson, you know what, people said to me, I was asked a question around Christmas time, it was like, this team of the decade and stuff like that for Liverpool, and I said Pepe Reina, because just the amount of years he was there. Our team of the 21st century, I think it was, for Liverpool. And I went with Reina because the amount of years there. I changed my mind. I'm going to hold my hands up, because I think, I just look at him and you see people and you say he has a chance there, and he feels he has to put it in a certain part of the net to get past Alisson, and he has to be hit it so early and so clean, and has to catch him off guard to have a chance. And now you're looking going, these fellas have loads of time. He's fucking standing 12 yards, 13 yards off his line, and now you're going, he's really big, that fella. And you're starting to look to square balls when you're standing in the middle of the goal, so he's just out phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. One thing I will say is, though, the stats coming out about Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk playing together, and I think they've 11 clean sheets in a row or something mad like
990 minutes.
I think you need to give Robertson and Trent a bit of credit. I'd rather that be a back four that has them stats, and all right,
a back five,
I think them stats should be thrown as a unit rather than just them two. But Gomez for me is growing week on week on week, and he's been very lucky with injuries, impact injuries. I was concerned about him at centre half when he played a couple of games earlier in the season. I was probably a bit hasty because he was coming back, but he looked a bit step off. He looked a yard off. He looked hesitant. He didn't look himself. The right back stuff didn't help him, and he should never play there again. And I've said that a long, long time. But for me, Keith, he's grown and grown and grown to the point where this is why he's being mentioned, him and Van Dijk, because you can't really split them at the minute, rather than Van Dijk just being this absolute colossus, which he is.
Yeah, and look, I know Van Dijk does make everybody around him play better because he exudes a calmness and, nearly like a safety net as well. I'm not going to dig out like Lovren or Matip, I'm sure, but if you're playing beside one of them, you don't have that assurance. But since he's come back into the team, like, not putting a foot wrong, and it's not just sitting there as a wallflower alongside Van Dijk. It's not outplaying him, but being more dominant in some games than Van Dijk is. It's getting the ball and it's pushing into midfield the way Matip does at his best. Like, I've been really impressed with Gomez. And if you remember at the start of the season when he was going through that little bit of shitty form, he was linked with moves to Arsenal and Spurs and all. It's like, where's all that crap coming from? Liverpool aren't going to sell him. I think he's the best young centre back in Europe, therefore in the world. Do you know what I mean? I think he's that good. Like, how do you improve on him? Tell me.
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? We're so lucky to have him and Van Dijk and Alisson. And you're spot on about the fullbacks as well, because them two, Trent and Robbo, get a fair bit of criticism for not being defensively good. Well, I mean, you can't be in a defence like this and not be defensively good. Yeah, it's not all down to the boys in the middle and the keeper.
Yeah, I just think that Gomez's growth as a player, I suppose, over the last, going back, I think it's always the Bournemouth game away that comes to mind to me. So you're probably looking at 3 months now, and just his composure. Like, now, don't get me wrong, against Southampton there was 1 or 2 bits where there's a soft head at the edge of the box that there's a shot at Alisson. There's one where he's kind of caught and they get in a little bit lapse, but other than that, I just think he's absolutely phenomenal, and I think that's why you're hearing it being mentioned as a partnership rather than Virgil van Dijk does this and Joe Gomez is playing beside him.
That's it, Van Dijk +1. And since he had that little spat with Sterling, it's like the two of them have gone in different directions. Do you know what I mean? Like, Sterling's form fell off a cliff, and Gomez has, just after getting billed by the England fans and all that, like, he just went from strength to strength, which, great for us. Great news for us. But he maybe just needed that run of running games in the centre. As you said, I know your feelings on him as a right back, and
never again.
They're spot on. They are spot on. He's too good in the centre, but he doesn't have the attributes to be playing as fullback. And I know you've said this yourself. In any other team, fine, but not in this team for what we do. You don't want to see him at fullback, but no, I just think he's really nailing down, and you forget how young he is as well. You know what I mean? And he confidence maybe is an issue, is a thing for him, especially after the Sterling thing when he was getting billed. His confidence seemed to be very, very low after that, but he's come through that and excelled through that.
Yeah, no, he's been excellent, and I always say this about Joe Gomez. I want to see a full season of Joe Gomez absolutely fit and at his peak. And I think, you talk about Virgil van Dijk being player of the year. I think Joe Gomez could run him very, very close. If that, and now look, Virgil van Dijk is off the scale, ridiculous. But for a guy that's 22, 23 years of age, he has the potential to basically turn around and go in 4 or 5 years' time, when Virgil van Dijk decides he wants to go back to Holland and play football, he just turns around at 27 and says, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'll do it for another fucking 10 years." You know that way? Shaq says he totally agrees with me. He isn't a right back, too much ball watching, leave him at centre back. Yeah, over his right shoulder is a problem for him when he's at right back. Dylan says, not crazy an idea of City point deduction being backdated. We'll get on to that in a few minutes. We absolutely will. I have some views on this and titles being taken off them and stuff like that. But look, going through the team, we've touched on the midfield a little bit. Henderson, we've touched on Keita, we've touched on FIRMINO, and obviously Atletico Madrid coming up midweek. But the one up front I want to talk about is FIRMINO. And FIRMINO, to me, looks like he is the beacon of Liverpool Football Club, walking around going, "We are the dogs' bollocks." And I'm going to show you how much we are by doing mad shit on the pitch. And he hasn't scored a goal at Anfield this season, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he goes through the whole season. I hope he picks up about 6 or 7 goals away from home. He
finishes, 26 goals for the season.
He finishes on 20 plus with none at home, and he's just walking around flicking balls, ninja kicking people, and doing whatever, putting his hand over his eye, doing mad dances. People go, "Oh, he didn't even score at home." We go, "Yeah, we know," and we tap these pricks on the head and go, "Yeah, fair play to you." But he just looks, he personifies the confidence and the ability and the belief going through Liverpool for me at the minute with the stuff he's doing. Like, if you look at his game, there's hard work, there's graft, he's physical, he's skillful, he holds onto the ball, he's doing stuff, people are like, behind him, and he knows they're there, and he's just brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
And he's doing it all season. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know his form, he got a bit of stick, but like the sort of bits of skill, like the setup for Salah against Newcastle when he drags it and
I
then
missed that
flicks it
goal. I was
was
out having a smoke.
outrageous. Well, I'm sure you've seen it back. It was an absolutely sensational piece of skill, and against Arsenal as well, when he just scooped the ball up over Ceballos, I think it was, over his head and had the volley. Now it didn't come to anything, but you know, these are bits of skill that they're not the standard. I mean, against Norwich there, he's pulling balls out of the air and that he shouldn't be pulling out of the air. He's doing little drag around passes into the other guy's paths. It's outrageous, the bits of skill, and that's what he gets a bit of a hard ride. I'll be honest, he's my favourite player. I love Bobby, but gets a bit of a hard ride. I know he's just a bit of a walk, you know, he just runs and that's all he's good for, but he's not. He's absolutely brilliant. Like, the bits of skill.
Phil says here he's not a goal scorer, he's a Suarez light. He reckons he gets 16 goals max for the season. I think that'll do. Ella reckons that Bobby's first goal at Anfield this season will decide the title. I've changed my opinion. I want him to score a goal at Anfield this season. Thanks for that, Ella. Danny says, can you imagine Bobby if he was on pens and no look back here, Rabona? He was on pens for a little bit and missed a couple, but he's actually really good at them. He watches the goalkeeper as they go down, and he usually just hits the post.
I forgot he does all that no look stuff.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
About that.
He does. He is. Dylan reckons since the Copa America, Bobby has started taking the piss. He looks like he's gone up a level. He's always a confident bloke, but he's just trying stuff that, you know, he just feels that, yeah, I'm good enough to try this, you know. He's like Kevin Sullivan says, there isn't a number 9 anywhere that does what he does. I agree with you. Let me see. Tainted season bit the trolls on the arse, didn't it, says Jorginho. Yes, it did. The irony of the tainted title thing now can't be lost on anybody. Tom Conley says, evening lads and all you LFC legends. Just stumbled onto the show and didn't know you were on live. Typical YouTube, I have your notifications selected but not working. Knock it off, Tom. Unsubscribe, subscribe again and hit the bell icon. You should be absolutely fine. And this show, like all of our shows, goes out on download, which you can get on all your podcast suppliers as well. Look, the last thing I want, the game is won. We're 25 points clear. But the big thing for me, Keith, I two things I want to speak about before we get on to random stuff. And I'll give you all the go-ahead to go with the random stuff in a few minutes. But the league's done and dusted. We know this. The reaction of opposition fans is getting more and more bizarre by the day. And I think it was peaked. It peaked yesterday on Gillette Soccer Saturday when Jeff Stelling decided to start reading out bullshit stuff to say Liverpool are lucky. And
I know, but did you not see he tweeted before that? Did you see that?
I didn't see a tweet before that, no.
He put a tweet out and he says, Liverpool fans apologising in advance, but this is the wind Tomo up.
Okay, right.
So, because everyone's going mad about that. Apparently, but, you know, a tweet came out.
Right, but okay. He's on the wind up, but there's so many people out there that believe that.
There is. 100%. And you could actually, if you looked on Twitter, you'd see the reaction, you know, as Man United fans and all. It's about time someone has said it. We're all thinking it. And you're like, leave it out with this. Yeah. You're talking absolute shit, boys.
But the reaction is just mad. Like, it's the weakest league that we've ever seen. Yeah. It's this, that, and the other. And the gas thing is, right, I went back just for the crack. I went back to about, I think it was late July, early August, and I just picked out certain Twitter handles that support opposition teams. And I've seen things like Everton will do this, Arsenal will do this, United will do this, City will do this, Chelsea will do this, Spurs will do this, blah 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 blah. And they all went for it in the summer, especially when they looked at Liverpool had spent £4 million on a tall ginger lad that's 17, and now all of a sudden it's the weakest league going. So
you can't have it each way. You know what I mean?
Which way are we going here? We're all destroying things. You know, remember Pepe ran past Van Dijk at Anfield, and we apparently tore defences apart and stuff like that. So
it's exactly. And Marcus Rashford as well knocked over Van Dijk in a game before, and it's like, you know, Van Dijk is finished. The reaction to them all, I love it. I think it's great. Everything about this season is perfect. You know, from the team doing well, you know, the fans half and half. You know, some are enjoying it, and some aren't. But you know, we're all having a great old time. Everything that's going right can go right. and then the absolute shite that they're all coming out with the opposition fans. Like, there's no, you don't expect them to be gracious. So I'll always say this: there's no such thing as a neutral when it comes to Liverpool, because you either support Liverpool or you fucking hate Liverpool. There's no middle ground. Like, you know, you could look at it and say, "Ah, geez, I don't mind Spurs." No one says that about Liverpool.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's a cultural thing in the UK as well. You know, as a city, Liverpool always comes in for whatever reason. We know the reasons, but you know, there's no such thing as a neutral when it comes to Liverpool. So I'm not surprised by all the, you know, you don't expect them to be saying, "Oh, credit where credit's due," but the amount of shit that they're coming out with is just off the scales.
I said this last season, and you know me, I told you from the start of the season Liverpool winning the league. I was convinced of it, and no one could change my mind on that. But I've stood by this theory going back probably from about January last year when we were in the title running. It's worse nightmare denial. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, and the media side of it, and I've always said it, there's a certain section of the media that are a certain age that grew up watching Liverpool win everything, and they don't ever want to see them days again because their childhood was ruined. Okay.
Yeah.
And now the fans that are around there that have, you know, laughed and mocked Liverpool for, I know, Gerrard slipped and all this sort of shit, and it's worst nightmare stuff for them because they know everything they've dished out is going to come back at them in one big massive load over the next 6 to 8 weeks. And instead of just going, "I have to take this," they're trying to find anyone or anything they can throw, like, you know what I mean? And it's just not working. It's just bizarre for me. And I'm enjoying it. Although I'm not even interacting with it, I'm enjoying it. Like, I do see this stuff and I read it and go, "Oh, will I reply to that?" And I go, "No, do you know what? Don't even do it." You know, as one of the lads in the WhatsApp group says to me, and I love this quote, and I've said it before. He said, "When I'm sitting at the pub in Liverpool and announced league champions, and a United fan turns to me and says, 'Well, you couldn't beat us,' I'm just going to tap him on the head and say, 'Well done.'" You know, that kind of way. And I love that. And look. And
you know what the reaction will be to that as well. They'll be going bleeding.
That'll be just you know, fueling the fire a little bit more. But the reaction to me is just bizarre. And you know, like when City won it with 100 points, it wasn't the weakest league in the world. But from fans, from media, from nothing, Liverpool looked to me like they could smash this. And all of a sudden, it's the weakest league in the world. It's
exactly.
Just it's any way. It's any way to downgrade the horde, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But the madness, you know, the stats all come out. All the positions, points wise, are in line with how they've been for the last 15 years. You know, second, third, fourth. It's only first that's bleeding, you know, light years ahead. Yeah. So it's, you know, they can say they'll clutch at everything. I saw some absolute head case on Twitter trying to claim that United are man for man. There's only something like 3 Liverpool players that get into the United team.
Somebody just mentioned that on the chat, and it's gone on my screen. He said he's seen someone say, and if he wants to copy and paste that and put it back up, by all means do. I can't remember who it was, but they did say there's somebody there saying that United are man for man on paper a better squad than Liverpool. It's just that Liverpool's formation and the way they're playing is ludicrous.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Mad.
Yeah.
Madness, like, because, and what does my head in now, it does do my head in, is that they'll be like, "Oh, Bay, you know, we triggered it and all that." And it's like, you look fucking stupid, mate. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're talking absolute shit and you're trying to make out that you got the win somehow. It was scandalous. I think he said, if I remember, he was saying Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah and Robertson were the only 4 that had got in the United team.
So Mane wouldn't get in?
Mane wouldn't. No, Rashford and Martial up front. That Portuguese sham that signed for them last week was in the team. Bruno Fernandes was in your man's team.
Stop. No, I'm not doing that. Brady Carr has asked, has anyone heard from Noel Gallagher? I'd ask the same of Stu Brennan from the MEN.
Oh, he's gone quiet, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone very, very quiet, especially after the article where he said that Klopp has only succeeded after going the more honest route like Pep, which was absolutely brilliant. It was timed to perfection. The United fan, Owen Newell says the United fans said their players are better on paper and that a lot of Liverpool players are system players and wouldn't get into Europe's elite. Yeah, so just sign a load of players on paper and just don't put a system in place. That's mad.
Yeah.
That's
What
that's
Liverpool
insane.
should really do is sign like Paul Pogba and not know what to do with them and just throw that money and flush it down the toilet.
Yeah,
Like it's ridiculous,
yeah.
ridiculous
So
system
United are
players.
basically telling you that they have better players than us, they just don't know what system to play them in.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I
good
don't.
one.
I'm not going with that. Listen, we have about 10 minutes left, so if anyone wants to throw in some random questions, go and do so now. Keith, what way does this Man City think going to fall? Is it going to be a case where Man City just run this through court as much as they can and see what they
Yeah,
can get out of it, or do you actually see a way for? Because I feel that if I'm going to be honest with you, I see this as a suspended ban. This is what I see. I
yeah,
see the fine going ahead. I see a suspended ban being in place, which wraps their knuckles and puts them in their place with regards to don't do it again, and they may have to back off. But if any of this stands up, fine or ban, or even a ban with a suspension, because a ban with a suspension means you've done something wrong, but we're going to give
yeah,
you one more chance. The FA and the Premier League are under serious fucking pressure to do something against them. Now,
yeah.
I have heard people say, "Oh, it'll be retrospective and it'll go back and we get handed league titles." I'm going to put my hand up. I don't want the league title from
No,
last year, and I don't want the one
Jesus,
from
no.
13 or 14 either. We are beaten on the pitch, and that's the way it goes. And people
Yeah,
might say,
exactly.
"Oh, well, they used that money off the pitch to put these people on the pitch." Yeah, they probably did, but then players
Yeah,
went out
but
and
that
won the
doesn't
league.
matter.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
So,
couldn't agree more with that. Couldn't
so
agree more.
what way do you see this falling? Because I have a feeling it's a suspended ban with a fine, and I have a feeling the Premier League will start them when it all is done and dusted. The Premier League will start them on probably minus 15 points at the start of the season.
Yeah.
What
I
do you think?
think, right, I think, and this could be a bit of an exaggeration, might sound like a bit of an exaggeration. I think this is the biggest thing to happen in football since Bosman. I think UEFA have made a statement now. They're going after City. They're
Right.
not just. I don't think there's going to be any let up from UEFA unless City absolutely tear them a new arsehole in the courts. Goes to the court of arbitration for sport. If there's any way of it backing down from this ban, I think financial fair play is gone. I think it's a joke in any way as it is, but I think this will be the fucking death knell of that. And it will mean then that a club are bigger than the organisation itself. I think UEFA are going to go all out on this, and I think they're going to be banned.
Okay. Well,
But I
there's,
have a feeling they're going to drag it through the courts.
okay. Stephen O'Connor says they get their title stripped just in time for us to have 2 Premiership trophies on the top of the bus during the parade. Maverick says City have already had a last chance warning, so the best they may, the best they may just get a 1 year ban after arbitration. If City are docked points, says Tamal from the Premier League, it should be next season. Doing it this season should be pointless. Yes, I agree with that. You see,
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah, docking the points
docking
now.
the points from seasons gone past, then you're into a whole minefield of stuff where you go, well, if you take 30 off them, you know, let's say for argument's sake, just for argument's sake, right, we're in this season, and the league stands as it is, and you have Sheffield United in 5th place, just for argument's sake, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back 5 years and Sheffield United are in 5th place, they don't make the Champions League that year, and then 5 years later they're told, well, see, you're having 30 points taken off them, we've moved you up to 4th. Then you're going to have Sheffield United going, well, we lost out on possibly 50 or 60 million quid from Champions League. We lost out on sponsorship money. We lost out on extra money, revenue from TV because of the position we finished in the league. You know, it goes on and on and on. And then you're probably going to have 4 teams in the league that are affected by league placements, European qualification. And then they all turn around and go, well, hold on, if this happened, now we want their cut. 5
Yeah.
years down the road. I think it's a very, very dangerous road to go down unless you're going to do something like was done to Juventus where they literally throw you down 2 divisions and they say to
And
you,
that's the
you're
threat,
out.
isn't it?
Well, it is the threat, but I don't
That's
see it
the
happening.
threat. It won't happen.
No, people have made fair points there. Like Dylan says, he doesn't want points backdated, either do I. Danny says all City can do is try point the finger at PSG, Inter and Juve. Well, you can't really. You have to, the case is against you. You know what I mean? If I commit a murder, I don't turn around and go, well, him over there murdered someone. That doesn't make a fucking difference. Chris Brack says the Athletic are saying City are throwing Bayern and Juventus under the bus and want UEFA to explain their sponsorship deal with Audi and Jeep. Yeah, that may happen, but this is against City. Now, don't get me wrong, UEFA could turn around and do City and go through CAS and they get a 2 year ban. The Premier League will have to deduct them points. They could throw them down 2 leagues, and then you move on to Bayern, and then you move on to Juventus. You know that kind of way.
Exactly. They're not going to take on big clubs like that when there's one going on. They're going to look, like I said, I think this is a watermark, like a watershed moment for for UEFA to do this, to pull up a club like City. And I saw your man today, Oliver Holt, that's his name, Emily Bishop's son, shitebag, going on about it's only UEFA trying to keep the likes of Man City out of the elite. It's to protect the big clubs. Well, too fucking right it is, because if you're going to go in, I've nothing against someone buying a club. You can't tell people how to buy a club. But what City are doing, the financial doping, and it is financial doping what they're doing. It's not about, this isn't really an FFP issue what they got done on. It's fucking lying about their sponsorship deals that are coming in, and it's, it's overinflating, which everyone can see from a mile out happening. It's and sort of lying about it. So I think they're going to come down heavy on them. I don't think they'll go after the other clubs.
Well, the biggest thing for me is, and like all Neil says there, surely if City's main argument is that other teams are doing it, then Cass will just keep their punishment. That's a fair point as well. Chris Back doesn't want the award to be awarded the 13-14 title. It will feel hollow to him personally. I think this is like financed between 2012 and 2016, if I'm right. And if they were to take their titles out of them there, you're probably looking at United get given one and Liverpool will get given one, something along those lines, but I don't really want them. Kevin O'Sullivan says City lied in their financial declaration to UEFA, case closed. Avo says, Avo's throwing up a random question. I'm going to try, let me see, I'll read that now and I will throw it out there. Owen Neil says, if FFP weren't a thing, then City would just be on top, and surely that would ruin football more. Well, you see, this goes back to the argument with Miguel Delaney. Now, Miguel Delaney was saying, the superpowers in football and, ruining things like this. I think, and I'll stand by this all day fucking long when it comes to Miguel Delaney. The mistake he made was he mentioned Liverpool in this, right? Yeah. And Liverpool are a super club. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But the way they are a super club is completely different to the way Manchester City are a super club. Okay? Yeah. So if a team, like you said, you've no problem with someone buying a team, building a team, doing it right, staying within laws, and so on and so forth. And if they go and win things, absolutely fine. Everyone knew, the dog on the street knows about what City are up to. I think I read something the other day that they claimed they spent something like millions on horticulture around the ground. Yeah,
11 million. Yeah, 11 million on horticulture. This
is the way we're going, right? And then Tony Evans was saying, are they a super club? Well, if they spend like a super club, they must be. And I was like, no, they're not, because are Leeds United a super club? Were Leeds United a super club in the year 2000? Not a fucking chance they were. Do you know what I mean? But they were spending like they were, but they weren't. This is all a show. This is all this is all something to be, painted. It's a picture you're painting, but it doesn't have any substance to it. If it rains, that picture's going to run. The kind of way. It's just the way it is. So, like Lubac says, he hopes PSG are next. My point is, and it will always be my point, if the rules are in place, you stick by the rules. And if Liverpool in 6 months' time are found to have, I don't know, spent too much money on X, Y, and Z, and the UEFA turn around and go, listen, you're out of order, we're giving you a 25 million fine, don't do it again, fine. And if they do it again and they get 2 years out of the Champions League, fine. The rules are fucking there.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? Yeah. I think the biggest thing from City is an arrogance. And the arrogance is that, well, how the fuck it is? You know what I mean? We have more money. We have more money than this corporation. We do what we want, and that's where I think it's going to fall down from. Owen Newell says, to be fair to Delaney, he has come out and said that FFP is good by stopping City just spending all they want. Yes, it is, but his main point at the time, Owen, is that Liverpool winning all these games is ruining football. All right.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with that. All right. If Liverpool and Man City were, I don't know, taking fucking colossal monies in and just, doing whatever they wanted around any rule, you go, yeah, he's absolutely right. But the timing of that article and mentioning Liverpool in it, for me, was just wrong. Do you know what I mean? So listen, I'm not.
Clicks,
well, look, I'm not. Like it does bring that up, Now, having said that, I've read that article. I agree with a lot that was in it, but I just didn't like Liverpool being brought into the argument.
That was the whole thing about the Miguel Delaney thing. A lot of it was right, but it was how he went, and he knew by mentioning Liverpool, and Liverpool gone for their first title in 30 years, ruining football. Like, you fucking joking me. He knew quite well what he was doing.
But the thing about it is, and I think the other thing that didn't help him was he done an article on Manchester United about how the Glazers are
the great tragedy of English football.
Of English football with regards to what's going on at Old Trafford. You know, the kind of, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Avo, you're going to have to throw that random question up again because again it's gone off my screen. Kula King says, any transfer news, guys? Pierce just saying we might not follow our interest in Werner. I haven't heard anything. I'm not really one that's into transfers in February. I'm going to be honest with you. There's more important things to be looking at, and you know, we've a league to win, we've a Champions League to win, and possibly an FA Cup to win as well. Dylan asks, top of the range. Mrs. got a toasty maker, and it's right up there as a top of the range kitchen utensil. What's your favourite thing in the kitchen, Keith?
Air fryer.
An air fryer?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Game changer.
Just making chips.
Phillips air fryer, chips, everything. You put blade and do cakes and all in them. Haven't made a cake in a year.
Cakes?
You can make a cake in them.
Cakes in an air fryer.
You can, I'm telling you.
How the fuck can you make a cake in an air fryer?
You can.
How?
I'm going to blade and take a picture of me instruction book with the cake, and I'll send it on to you.
So hold on, are you making a bleeding chocolate gatto and throwing it in the fucking air fryer?
Yeah.
You can't stop it.
You do the base or whatever, or a sponge or something. I don't know, but you can do a cake in it and all. You can do everything in them. Okay. I'm telling you. Cake in the air fryer.
When he says toasty maker, is that just a sandwich maker where
that's what I'm thinking, a sandwich maker, yeah.
Yeah, they are deadly.
They are great, but they're a bit old, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They're real late in the 80s or something.
Yeah, but they're great, man.
Oh, I love them. The cheese will be blade roasting in them and all because there's no air gets into them.
Yeah, put beans on toast and lash them in there. They're deadly.
Fantastic.
Dylan says, an air fryer. Led to believe it's up there, all right.
It's great for cakes.
Yeah, Chris Brax loves the slow cooker. Great for curries and scouts. I like a slow cooker. I'll tell you what I love buying. A big fillet or a big joint of roast beef. And what you do is you just stick it in the slow cooker. You know, make up a load of gravy or whatever, put it in the slow cooker, leave it for a couple of hours, take it out and slice it and put it back in. And then it just comes out lovely and thick. But the trick with a slow cooker, right? Kev O'Sullivan says slow cooker for beef, you can't beat it. The trick with it is people put too much water in a slow cooker because they believe that, like in a pot, if you keep heating it, it'll evaporate. It doesn't. So you only have to pour a little bit. Dylan says, imagine a bagel in an air fryer. Toasted bagels are the hottest thing you will ever put your fucking hand on.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sticking by that. Best toasty filling, says Chris Brack. His is beans, cheese and onion. Well, you hear this shit Keith's going to come out with here because he's absolutely
I'm going to come out with, listen to this, right. Sit down.
Strap yourselves in.
My outfit will be listening to this, right? And he's a bit of a savage, like, on the toasted sandwich front.
Right. What's his name?
We used, Liam. So what we used to do, right? Well, what he used to do, he used to put, on a Sunday, right? Cabbage.
You aren't having toasties on a Sunday.
Oh, Sunday night, right?
Oh, right.
Toasted cabbage and ham. You know, from the dinner, ham and cabbage toasties.
Ham and cabbage.
Put them in the sandwich maker and take that with brown sauce on it.
Are you messing?
No, I'm serious. Okay. Deadly serious. Right. Cabbage toasties. Try it. If you like cabbage, if you don't like cabbage, probably isn't going to be for you.
I make cabbage
toasty. Yeah, cabbage toasties.
I done a fillet of ham today with a turkey joint. I done roast potatoes, mashed potatoes. I done some stuffing, gravy, and you know what I done? I got carrots and parsnips, and I mixed up some like olive oil with some parsley and some honey. And I mixed it all up and I poured it over and stuck them in the oven, roast them. Absolutely deadly. Avo's question's gone off the screen again. Avo, put it back up, man. I promise I'll read it.
I have it here. All right,
go on, read it out.
Right, you're 3/4 of the way across a bridge that starts to crumble.
Yeah.
Do you accelerate and try to jump the gap and risk dying? Or risk turning around and try to outrun the crumble and risk dying?
Right, so it's crumbling from the side you're approaching.
Crumbling, so you're driving.
You have to turn.
I don't think I've tried to jump, to be honest.
Well, if it's crumbling, there's nothing to fucking jump off.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to drive off the edge of it.
You turn it around and you put the foot down.
You just reverse. You just fucking reverse it all the way back over. Outrun that crumble.
Okay. Yeah, no, we definitely have. I think we're definitely. Dylan says drinking cabbage water. Don't go there. It's fucking disgusting. And that's
delicacy.
We know we can.
Growing up.
We know we can blame. We can blame Liam on that now. At least we have the culprit's name now. All we need now is a positive identification of him. Let me see. Something sounds vile for Chris Brack. You'll have to follow that up. Dylan says, a pie of choice at the football.
Pie of choice. Any of them.
Any of them?
Yeah, pie. Yeah,
I love
why
a
not?
steak pie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I need like curry pie, chicken pie, ham pie,
I
whatever.
seen an ad on the telly the other day for pucker pies, right?
Yeah.
And it was obviously, I was watching something, must have been on Channel 4 or something. And I was thinking, can you get them in Ireland?
I don't know. You can probably get them in Iceland.
Yeah.
They can sell everything in there.
Yeah. Because I was actually looking at it going, I might order some of them online.
Load up.
Yeah, just get a load of them on Amazon. Amazon sells
Talk to
everything.
Grizz. Grizz is the man for the bulk buying of the food.
Oh, yeah, ice cream. KLOPP King says, bananas in custard and topped with a crumbled digestive biscuit. Are you having some of that?
Yeah, that's very, like, I might have been talking about cabbage toasty, so that's well out. That's upmarket for my sort of palate. But yeah, sounds amazing.
Okay. Favourite, I think Ellis says, favourite sportsman or woman cannot be a footballer.
Favourite sportsman or woman, current or all time?
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Favourite sportsman, Mike Tyson, but he's a bit of a bogey reputation, you know.
Yeah, he's a bit bogey, isn't he?
But I'm sticking with it. Mike Tyson.
I watch different sports. In golf, it's definitely Sergio Garcia.
Sergio Garcia, yeah.
Yeah, I love Sergio Garcia. I don't know, who else?
It's a tough one. Roger Federer. I love tennis as well. I love watching Roger Federer.
Yeah, he's good.
Great player.
I like Nadal as well.
Yeah.
Must be a Spanish
yeah,
thing. I don't know.
Yeah, you must, yeah.
I don't know. The top poverty dinner you can have is steak and kidney pie, says Dylan. Mr. A says, never get the hot chocolate at Anfield. They are vile. I don't. I just get a beer, which is usually warm and in a bottle. Dylan says, ever see Iceland do frozen mince, but they're individual pieces of mince? It's freaky as fuck. I haven't seen that, and I won't be seeing it. Steak and kidney and Guinness pie, says Maverick. Yeah, that's a classic. Dylan says, Bruce Jenner ticks both boxes. Danny Emery likes Darren Till. Oh my God, Lubac. Jesus, here we go. A lad from work, he has sprout sandwiches. That's wrong.
Real, isn't it? That's blatant. Yeah.
That's wrong.
Oh no.
No,
that's bad.
You can't be dealing with that. I wouldn't even say Liam would let that pass, would he?
I wouldn't rule it out.
Would you not?
No, he does eat sprouts. Puts everything on bread.
Yeah, everything on bread, yeah. KLOPP King says, the best film you've seen.
The best ever film I've seen? What's my favourite film? Oh no, my favourite, right, it's not going to be an Oscar winner, I can tell you that for a fucking start. Back to the Future trilogy.
Yeah, deadly. Watched it a couple of weeks ago with my daughter, she loved it.
Yeah, love it. Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2.
Yeah, I've tried to get her into that.
Well.
Tried to get her into that.
Basically anything from the 80s.
Indiana
Jones. There you go.
Mine is probably Reservoir Dogs. No, it's not Reservoir Dogs. It's Goodfellas. Or I love The Shawshank Redemption, I have to say.
Yeah, they're good. Now I want to go back to your Reservoir Dogs. Do you prefer Reservoir Dogs over Pulp Fiction?
It depends what humour I'm in.
Because I do.
Yeah.
And I get lashed over for that.
Pulp Fiction's deadly. But I think Goodfellas is better than all of them.
Yeah, Goodfellas is good.
And then look, in that genre of film, I love like Carlito's Way, A Bronx Tale, Donnie Brasco. I love all them.
They're no Weekend at Bernie's, but you know, that's the sort of show I like.
Kev O'Sullivan likes Breakfast Club. Lubac says cabbage water is good for ulcers, apparently. Chris Brack likes Jessica Ennis or Denise Lewis. They're obviously female sports women. Great Gatsby, my greatest film ever, says Dylan. Once Upon a Time in America from Stephen O'Connor. KLOPP King says Goodfellas as well. There was another question that was down there, and it's gone on my screen as well.
The Godfather's pretty good as well.
The Godfathers, yeah, they're good, but I love the likes of A Bronx Tale and Carlito's Way, Goodfellas. I just stick on Goodfellas randomly at times just to lash it on.
Yeah,
I just like them. But yeah, there's so many good films out there. I'm not a film guy. Have I seen The Irishman? Have you seen The Irishman?
No, I'll never watch that show. 4 hours or something. You're
Yeah,
joking me.
3.5 hours. Yeah,
And all the CGI and all that. No, I don't think I'll watch that.
shitload of CGI. Killer
Yeah.
King says it's a brilliant film, though. I did hear a lot of people say it's probably about 40, 50 minutes too long. But I will get to it at some stage. A chicken fillet roll, what fillings are you putting in it? So anyone, I don't know whether this is an Irish thing, do people in England do it? So a chicken fillet roll is French baguette. Would I be right in saying? A French
Yeah.
baguette. Basically, it's a hot chicken fillet in breadcrumb, and then you can just lash whatever filling you want on. What are you putting in it?
The standard but is mayonnaise, onion, lettuce, and tomato, isn't it? That's sort of that's what we tend to.
Lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, probably. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that's what
just the
that's what
standard.
I'd go with, the standard one. Yeah, with a chicken fillet roll. Yeah, because sometimes you can add mad shit onto them and it can be a bit funky.
I'll tell you what I like. I like taco sauce on it.
I was going to say you can add mad shit like taco sauce on it.
Taco sauce on it. I like taco sauce with cheese and red onion, and
Yeah,
that's
nice.
it. Best sci-fi film, says Maverick. I'm not a sci-fi
I
fan.
fucking hate
I
sci-fi.
have a thing about films. If there's aliens, if there's what's them lads that suck blood out of you. I always forget the name of them.
Vampires.
Yeah, vampires. Or there's one other thing I don't like either. And if they're in them films, I just no, it's not for me. Kevin Sullivan's likes lettuce, coleslaw, onion, and cheese. I find coleslaw too cold on my teeth.
Yeah, I don't mind coleslaw on it, but I don't like coleslaw and cheese. So it'll be one or the other.
Yeah,
That could be just me being a weirdo. But
I don't like I like coleslaw. I just find when I eat it that my teeth just go fucking mad over. Dylan says if you're not over the north side of Dublin, if you're not hitting taco and lettuce, it's a crime. I like taco, not with lettuce though. So there you go. Alien, best sci-fi film. Yeah, Alien's a good show. Best western film. I love The Outlaw Josie Wales with Clint Eastwood.
yeah, that's a great film.
That's probably
Pale Rider is good as
that's
well.
one of them. And there's another one that I can't think of the name, but one of the lads is always going on about it. But Lubac loves Shawshank Redemption. Let me see. Can we have a prediction for the Atletico game? I think we score at least 3.
Who says that? You?
Yeah,
3?
we score
Yeah.
at least 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually confident enough about Atletico, but I know a lot of people are fearing Atletico. You know, if Atletico get a goal up on you, they'd be a nightmare to break down and all, but I don't think they're the team they were even last year. You know, a lot of the big names have moved on and they're not maybe
They're not in great form from what I've
They're
heard.
not, no.
They've a lot of injury worries, don't they?
Yeah, Trippier might be out, and that's a big loss for them. So that sort of, for me, is saying maybe, you know, their solid defence isn't that bleeding solid. Trippier's a key loss for them. But no, I think, you know, they've a great goalkeeper, and you know, if you have Jan Oblak in goal, you'll always have a chance. So I think we can beat them handy as well, but you don't want to be too cocky or arrogant. You know what I mean? So 4-0.
Okay, yeah, love it. Ellis says, I think we score at least 3. I've said this in the WhatsApp group yesterday and people got very upset over it, but that's the way it is. I'll get lashed out of it if we don't. Ellis says, if you could guarantee one player in our squad to retire at Liverpool, who would it be?
One player to retire at Liverpool. I mean, you could go for the glamorous Trent. You know what I mean? Scouts
Now,
are all the way through.
I'm going to change that question slightly, right? Because someone could retire at, you know, you could get someone playing till 37 and they're just shy. Do you know what I mean? So what I want to say, yeah. So the way I put it is, and I'm not knocking Ella's question, but I'll put it to play right up until their peak. You know, stay with us right to their peak. I'll put it at that. Let's go with
it. Let's see. I'd hate to think it was without Van Dijk, but I'm going to go for ALISSON. Never, he can play at least 46.
Most longevity, isn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, that's where my head is at on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Mane. Because I think, and this might sound mad, I don't think he's even at his peak yet.
No.
And I think he's about 28.
Yeah.
But I can see him developing over the next 2 years into, like, he's a goal scoring wide forward now. I could see him turning into an outrageous number 10. Yeah. If you went and played someone off front man where he can just drift around and he still has that pace, has that eye for goal, he's good in the air. He could see a pass. I think it would be. I think it'd be amazing. Kevin Sullivan has a great shout, and Gomez will see us through 2 rebuilds. That's fair enough.
That's true, yeah.
Chris Brack says Trent is a good show. Dylan says, told you Alisson's hair would be immaculate in that weather, didn't I? Yeah, he did look great, didn't he? He did. He just looks.
He always
He looks
does.
amazing. If you've we'll stay for 5 more minutes if you have any more random questions. I did want to ask you. You know what all these storms, Keith?
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation with my wife today. I don't know why. We were talking about all these storms. She's getting a bit pissed off because she had the baby 6 weeks ago. From tomorrow, she's allowed drive, and she's been trying to get out for a walk with the baby for the last couple of days because she's gone, cabin fever and all that shit.
Yeah.
And the storm's been annoying her. And we were having this conversation saying, imagine it was like that bad that you had to go into a fucking underground bunker.
Yeah.
Right? We are trying to say, how long do you reckon you'd last? Now I'm gonna say to you that, you're in there, you have airflow as much as you need, you have
a stock of food,
you have electricity, you have airflow, like it's an underground bunker, but I'm not asking you to bring fucking car batteries so you can fry an egg on a fucking pan.
Yeah.
You have power, you have light, you have airflow, but this storm's gonna last.
Down the hatches.
This storm will last as long as you can last in there. What do you bring in with you, and how long could you think you could last?
You'd last for bleeding ages, wouldn't you? Like, do you remember the snow and people couldn't get bread after a couple of days?
Yeah,
the country was bleeding on wheels trying to get fresh bread.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like that.
Right.
I think I'd be grand. I'd be bleeding, just float along.
Like she was saying to me, you bring the perishable foods and you bring this and you bring that, and I was saying, yeah, well, you have a freezer. Most things will last in the freezer for a couple of months, you know what I mean? Whether it's chicken or fish or whatever it is, yeah. But she was saying to me, what would you bring? I was like, yeah, bring the fish. But I genuinely, I think if you put me in an underground bunker, right, with heat, light, airflow, enough food for a couple of months, and a golf simulator, I think I'd be fucking grand.
That's all you need once you get your golf simulator.
Yeah, I'd leave all the beans
Keeps
behind and just bring me clubs with me. Yeah, I'd bang balls all day.
Yeah, why not? Keep the bleeding brain going. We see, I suppose, if it's a bad storm that you're batting down the hatches, would you have electricity? You'd have to have your own little generator.
No, you'd have electricity. You'd have electricity. Like Danny's asking, do you have internet and TV? I'll give you internet and TV.
The internet goes if there's a high wind. There's no way that bleeding internet's going to work in the storm.
All the bleeding lines are underground now.
Yeah, but we're talking about the sort of storm here that gets you locked in your underground bunker here. This isn't like the shit that we get at the moment.
Yeah, but this isn't holding an aerial up on the fucking roof so you're dark and watch the bleeding 1990 World Cup.
Yeah, but it's still going to impact. I think it'll impact on your.
The wind doesn't go underground.
It can. I think there'll be a lot of disruption now.
I'll tell you what. We'll have lads out working on it. You know what I mean? We'll send them out. So we give
get a survey done on this.
We give you internet for 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's fine. Internet's fine. Once a bit of music, that's all I'd want. Once you get in, but then again, all my Spotify and all that'd be all internet dependent. So I'd have to. Fucked out all CDs and all. Yeah, I didn't think this one's free. I need internet.
If I won loads of money, you know what I mean, and like I always talk about, I want to do this in the house, and I want to do that in the house, and I always said if I won a load of money, I would build a nice house. But I always said I'd want one of those golf simulators where you literally can go out and you want to see these golf simulators now. Like they literally can. You're hitting the ball against the screen. It looks like you're playing golf, but it can actually incorporate the wind, rain. It can. It can incorporate fucking everything. They're amazing. I think
they're not even that big.
No, they're not big. They're probably about the screen's probably about 12 foot by 9 foot.
Yeah,
and they're unbelievable. They're unfucking believable. And I think if you put me underground with one of them, smokes, you know what I mean, enough
good
cabbage water to keep me going for 6 months, I think it'd be sound. Yeah. You know what I mean?
There you go. See, that's it. Keep the brain ticking over. That's all you need. People will be rushing out for bread and shit like that.
The bread is mad, isn't it?
Yeah, keep me old head going, and I'll be happy enough with that.
Yeah, I was down at the school collecting my daughter the other day, and it was snowing before I went down there. Bit of snow, wasn't that major? And when I got down there, one of the owls said to me, "Jesus, I don't even have bread in. It was snowing there."
Panic stations.
No, bread.
I'm fucking panicking.
You know what I mean? Let me see. Dylan says I'd be sound if I had to live underground. My granddad was a hoarder. Walked in one day to a generator. Yeah, listen, there you go.
There you go.
And he's nearly certain that he stole it from the Rotunda Hospital, which is not very good. We have to
Well,
say
you know,
you can't be robbing it from maternity hospitals.
well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to admire the audacity to even do it. So, you know, credit where credit's due.
But we don't condone that sort of stuff.
We don't condone that sort of stuff, but well in.
Fair play. What's your 3 things? Last question. What's your 3 things on Desert Island Discs? So on Desert Island Discs, this is 3 songs, is it?
Desert Island Discs, or yeah,
Or is it 3 things you bring to a desert island? What way we work on this?
I don't know. It's like, what's that room? Oh no, yeah, so Desert Island Discs. Yeah, I don't know. Bleeding 3 things that you bring to a desert island with you. Or is it, see, Desert Island Discs is songs. But,
Yeah.
so what way
Well,
are we going?
I'll tell you what I'll do, right? You're on a desert island.
Yeah,
You're allowed to bring one thing with you.
yeah.
You're allowed to find one thing that's there. Well, it's a
And
desert
you
island.
can't say a golf simulator. There's
No,
you
I'm not
can bring
having a
fucking
golf simulator in the
with
middle
you.
of the Pacific Ocean. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
plane crashes and you
yeah,
have your golf simulator.
I
with
come
you.
out through the waves with me clubs on me back. No, it's not
Yeah.
like that. So basically, right, you can bring one thing with you, and there's one luxury thing there for you when you get there. But there's only one song you can listen to while you're there.
One song you can listen to when you're there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I have to think about this now. One song. So you go for it. Now I'm a bit of a shy bag when it comes to jukebox etiquette. Because if I'm in a pub with a jukebox, I'm looking for the long players.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Bat out of hell.
Bat Out of Hell. Well, yeah, definitely a Bat Out of Hell, Bohemian Rhapsody, all these ones that you're getting. Stairway to Heaven. You've got a nice long. But if I'm out, like, I'd bang on Underworld and all, because they have like 12, 13-minute songs, 20-minute jams. Get them on.
Right.
So I'm going for the value picks there.
Okay.
So, but if it was this one song, you can't go wrong with the likes of Bohemian Rhapsody, can you?
Right. Bohemian Rhapsody, what one thing you bringing with you?
I don't have to bring a radio to play Bohemian Rhapsody, do we?
No.
No. Do you know what I'd bring? You know them readers. So not a book, but a reader.
Kindle.
Yeah, Kindle. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Every night I read.
And what one thing would you like to find on the desert island that'd be useful to you?
A charger to charge me Kindle.
Okay. Let me see. Kiola King says, "How deep is your love?" by the Bee Gees. Anything by James Blunt, says Dylan. Fuck off.
Do you know what? Right, my son came in from school the other day,
Yeah.
and he says, "Dad, do you know a band called the ABBA?" I said, "ABBA? Yeah. Learned about them in school. He's only 6.
Yeah.
They were the biggest band in the world, and they had to break up because they couldn't take the pressure anymore." I says, "Did they, son? Yeah, ABBA." So ever since then, we've been listening to Dancing Queen on loop.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with Dancing Queen.
Yeah.
So, you know, Dancing Queen. Why not?
Okay. I'd like some sort of living arrangements when I got there. You know, like a hut. Just a hut to live in.
A hammock.
No, not a
No,
hammock.
you want a roof.
I want a fucking
something,
roof.
yeah.
Like, it's gonna rain. You know what I mean?
But
And
that's up to you. That's how good are you at building a hut?
I'm not bad at building stuff, but I'd like to. If I could find one thing when I got there, it'd be a hut.
Yeah.
I think. What would I bring with me? Loads of drinking water, because you're around, like, it's fucking salt water everywhere.
Yeah, you can't drink that.
Do you know what I mean? And the song I would play, you don't have to have it on a loop. You can just play it. You know.
Yeah, when you feel you want to
play
play
and pause,
music.
like, you know what I mean. I think it'd be. I'd probably have to go for an Oasis tune, to be honest with you.
An Oasis song. Okay.
And I think it would be.
Go for the long player. Champagne Supernova.
Yeah, Champagne Supernova's not a bad shout, but I'm going to go with Some Might Say by Oasis.
Yeah, great song.
All right. Chris Brack says, listen to Scooter. Those songs last for ages. Let me see.
Scooter.
There's loads of questions coming in there, but we can't get them. We're an hour and 25 minutes in, and we're messing at this stage. Chris was with me on Tuesday when we played Atletico, wasn't that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Chris will be with me after that game. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, we're all good.
Okay. Nothing else from me. Thanks a million to everyone for watching. Don't forget you can get this on download in the next about half an hour's time. I'll have it ready and done. Don't forget to like on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow us on Twitter, share it onto your Twitter page, and don't forget our Discord group. And I'd like to thank the third man who was on this podcast tonight, and that is Mr. Liam Plunkett. Cabbage water, sprouts on bread, all that sort of mess.
Oh, you name it. I couldn't tell you half of the nonsense
No,
he goes through it.
please don't. You got us in enough trouble last week. That's been it. That's the Fatback 4 Daily. Thanks for watching. Over and out.